Let's talk about dominant lights. By now you've probably seen these in the Actor Class's browser, but you're wondering, what are they? Well, when Lightmass was added to Unreal Engine 3, the entire idea behind lighting changed. You went from a concept of wanting to fill your level with all kinds of lights to help simulate the behavior of light, so you'd have lights whose only purpose was to make it look like light was bouncing around, to suddenly wanting to use as few lights as possible and letting Lightmass handle calculations like bounced light. The problem with this is that it became more and more difficult to deal with lighting on things like characters and dynamic objects because you had fewer lights to work with them, and you don't want to have to create dynamic lights for everything. Now let me give you a quick example. Here in this level, we have a setup which would have been pretty typical pre-Lightmass. We have a single directional light, and it's lighting through these static meshes, and we got a skeletal mesh here, and a mover that's just sliding back and forth. Now I'm going to play from here, and we'll just step on the mover and take a look at the lighting and shadowing on our character here. Now, this is the result of a light environment, and a light environment is a special calculation to make the lighting on a dynamic object feel more realistic. Underneath the hood, it's a spherical harmonic light and a single directional light that combine together to simulate the effect of all of the static lighting in your scene. They mimic dynamic lighting in a much more efficient manner than if you just had dynamic lights all over the place. The problem, though, is notice that there's practically no realistic shadowing. I mean, up here we've got these nice cables that are passing by, but we don't see any of those cables shadowing on the character, so the quality has really dropped. This is where dominant lights come in. A dominant light is kind of the best of both worlds. It allows you to have detailed static shadows as well as dynamic shadows on animated objects such as characters and movers. So I've got the exact same setup, but using a dominant light instead of just a regular directional light. And we'll go ahead and close that. And if we look up, here's our directional light. Now, it was added in the same way that you would add any other kind of light. All we did was go to the Actor Class's browser, and underneath directional light, you'll see dominant directional light. And let's just fire the level up. In fact, you can already see a little bit of the result. Choose Play in Editor. Now check out the shadowing. We're getting this really great shadowing not only on the character, but also on the mover itself and on the little first-person weapon that we're holding down here in the corner of the screen. Overall, a much more realistic result, but we're still reaping the benefit of these great static shadows from Lightmass. So, again, it's just the best of both worlds, and this is kind of the state of the art. This is where your lighting systems should generally be going with your levels. Start off with a dominant light, and then you'll just add some regular lights there if you need artistic control over a certain area. Say maybe if we had something over here in the corner that was supposed to be lit up. A couple of words of warning: you should only have one dominant light affecting any given surface in your level. Do not use multiple dominant lights. You will get a warning if you do this. Generally on a PC, I've found that it will still render, though you'll get the warnings. If you were to ever create games for a console, though, it will be a problem. So for now, just as a general rule, only have a single dominant light affecting your surfaces. That doesn't mean you have to only have one in your level. If you can block out surfaces from one dominant light, you could potentially add another one. Just make sure that no two dominant lights are ever affecting the same surface. So that is going to wrap things up for this video. Thanks a lot.